This is the IDP After Show.
Hello, everyone. It's your boy Adam. I'm with Johny. It's Friday night. We're talking IDP bets, tackle props, sack props. It's time. It's legal in Kentucky. You know, it's been legal for 2 weeks. It was time to make a show, Johny. How are
Yes.
you doing tonight, sir?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me on. Yes, we were talking about your adventure of Kentucky finally getting it. This is season 2 for us over here in the great state of Connecticut, and I was just telling you how deep down the rabbit hole it goes. You guys are in for an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to me and saying terms that I have no idea about. Like you're like a seasoned vet at this point. I'm just like a, wide-eyed freshman, just looking to learn, man, looking to learn and looking to hopefully make some money. And that's what hopefully we can do for everyone that is tuning in. And yeah, I guess let's go ahead and get right into it. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Fire away.
All right, so my pick of the week right here to start us off, I'm going with Kyle Van Noy over 0.25 sacks plus 195. Really good odds. But Kyle Van Noy, man, I know this is probably a name that not a lot of people expect to hear, but I really like this signing that Baltimore did on September 27th. This was a team with desperate need for some pass rush help, with David Ajabo likely being done for the season and Adafe Owe missing the last 3 and trending towards a 4th. Kyle Van Noy saw 15 pass rush snaps in week 4 and 22 pass rush snaps in week 5. With those 37 pass rush snaps, he managed 5 pressures and earned a 68.0 pass rush grade according to PFF. Also encourage everyone to take a look at how Kyle Van Noy finished the year in 2022. 16 pressures and 5 sacks in his final 5 games with the Chargers. Great matchup here against Tennessee, who have a awful O-line. Tannehill has been sacked 17 times this season, just tied for 5th most in the NFL. So Kyle Van Noy starting out hot. What do you think, Johny?
I like it, and I like the over 0.25. That's huge with this, right? Because you get the half sack, and you're still good to go. That is good stuff right there, man. I thought my first one was targeting a weak offensive line and a sack prone quarterback, but you got me beat with that. That's pretty good.
That's right.
All right, good stuff. All right, I'm going to lead off with one that's also over 0.025 sacks. So I like Uchenna Nwosu this week. He's got plus 165, which is a great price. He is going to be sacking Joe Burrow, hopefully, who has 11 sacks in 5 games. The Bengals have the 29th ranked pass block win rate in the NFL, so not great. Nwosu does not get pulled in garbage time, which I know sounds like that doesn't mean anything, but those extra snaps could help if it's a blowout one way or the other. Availability being the best ability. This is Bengals are minus 2.5 at Seattle. If we take away the 3 points that the home team gets, this is essentially an even game. So I think we get a back and forth game. I think we get full snaps for Nwosu. He played 60% of snaps last week. He's led all Seattle pass rush in terms of playing time this season. So I think he's got probably the best chance on the Seahawks to get a sack this week. And it's a weak offensive line for the Bengals, which everyone knows that. It's obvious. Burrow's been running for his life for multiple seasons now. So that's my sack guy for the week.
I love it. Yeah, Uchenna has been on a tear as of late. And yeah, this is a great matchup. So great odds too, right? What was it? Plus 165?
Yeah, plus one. So that's good money right there. I like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, moving right along. I got Jack Gibbons, 6.5 tackles. I like the over. Odds aren't great, minus 145, but I think this is one of those plays that if you're like me, you're getting hit up with tons of like profit boosts right now with all these promos. So this is one that, I mean, this feels like a no-brainer that's going to happen. Jack Gibbons been really good as of late. 27 tackles over his last 3 games, 7 in week 3, 10 in week 4. and 10 in week 5. So I expect him to hit the over here pretty easily. Baltimore Ravens are allowing the most tackles per game for opposing linebackers this year, allowing nearly 22 per game. Shout out our boy PFF Macri for providing the tackle data that we will be using on this show. They are also number 1 in linebacker tackle efficiency allowed, allowing opposing linebackers to have a tackle efficiency rate of 34%. To give perspective, the lowest linebacker tackle efficiency allowed is 16.3%. So just a really, really good matchup here for Gibbons. Over 6.5 tackles. I saw Azeez Al-Shaair was over 9.5, and I think he was like plus 110. Honestly, I mean, I don't hate that either, you know?
Yeah, I've actually got that part as part of a parlay for guys going over tackles. The Aziz one, I love that, dude. This game has got. I told people to stay away from this game for streaming corner because there's not going to be any passing. It's going to be a defensive black and blue affair. Just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that type of crap. I could totally see that. Just not much other than run offense from both these teams, which are run first teams. And yeah, Gibbons has been solid all year, even PFF wise. Excuse me, he's been solid. He's had a pretty good score there, so I like it. Alrighty. Next one I want to talk about is a cornerback special. That's what I'm known for. So bring in the corners here. So I want to combine Devin Witherspoon over 4.5 combined tackles versus Cincinnati with Kenny Moore over 5.5 combined tackles versus Jacksonville. At the end of that, you get plus 206. So Devin Witherspoon, since becoming a starter a couple weeks ago, has 7 and 11 combined tackles the last 2 weeks. He's likely going to be on Chase or Higgins. Either way, he's going to see a ton of targets. All he's got to do is tackle the guy after he catches the pass more than 4.5 times, and we're okay. So Kenny Moore has had. I may not have written that down. So Kenny Moore has hit this every week except week 1. So Jacksonville has recently found their offense. Moore will be on Kirk or Ridley, and he's always an option in run support as well. Kenny Moore's great. We know that. And Witherspoon's hot. I think both these guys have a good shot to get to their over their combined tackle numbers. And when you put them together, you get a decent price. Individually, it's not great. It's like minus 175 and minus 120 or something like that. But together, they look pretty good.
Yeah, love old Kenny Moore, and yeah, he's been really good as of late. 9 tackles last week, 8 in week 4, and then 4 Baltimore week 3, 6 against Houston in week 2, and 3 against Jacksonville. But yeah, you love the recent games that he's been putting together. Okay, I got another sack one for us. Will Anderson over 0.25 sacks plus 165, Johnny.
Ooh.
So slow start in the sack column for Mr. Anderson, but he is hashtag good and he's playing well despite not getting home since the season opener. I think that changes this week against Derek Carr and the Saints. The Saints have given up 17 sacks as a team this season, tied for 5th most in the NFL. Will Anderson currently has a 74.8 overall PFF grade, and his 16.4% pass rush win rate ranks 16th among all edge rushers. He has 16 pressures on 132 pass rush snaps. Very good numbers for a rookie. I think this is a good spot for Mr. Anderson this week. Again, love those odds. Will Anderson over 0.25 sacks.
Nice. I love that. And I'm with you on that. How many times have we seen that where the pass rush metrics show us that a guy should be producing? It just hasn't happened yet, nature of the position, and then it catches up all of a sudden. Max Crosby, for example. So yeah, that's definitely coming for Mr. Anderson. That's for sure.
Yeah, we see it all the time. And like, I don't know, when guys are due, it just seems like they kind of fall into them, and Will Anderson is due.
Yeah, no doubt. Love that. Good call there. So this next one I've got is a monster. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. So I like Azeez Al-Shaair over 5.5 solo because the price is a little bit better on solo, combined with Cody Farton Barton over 4.5 solo tackles this week. So with Azeez, Game script. We just talked about this, right? There's probably not going to be a ton of passing offense involved. If I recall correctly, it's the 28th and 26th passing offenses in the league, which not great. So a lot of ground and pound. So Aziz should be well positioned for that. He's been over this number the last 2 weeks, this solo tackle number the last 2 weeks, and he's in a good spot to do it again this week. Cody Barton has been over his number 3 games in a row, and he's in a very similar situation against Atlanta that does not possess a passing offense. They only run the ball, it seems like, or at least my teams that have Kyle Pitts feels like it seems like. So, so I think these. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think those two, when you combine them, don't have the individual price there because I did this thing as a monster. But, put them together, you get a decent price right there, or play them individually. I think both are in a good position to at least get those numbers this week and probably even go over.
Good stuff there. All right, I'm sticking with the I got a lot of sack props this week, apparently. Here's another one. Josh Uche over 0.25 sacks. That is plus 150. With Matt Judon going down, I expect New England to rely much more on Uche going forward. We already saw this in week 5 when Uche played a season high 50% of the defensive snaps. Uche is absolutely tearing it up from a PFF standpoint. He has 16 pressures on just 78 pass rush attempts. That's an elite 20.5% pressure rate. His 18.9% pass rush win rate ranks 12th among all edge rushers. He currently has a 77.3 pass rush grade. That is 22nd among edge rushers. And none of this is new. Uche has performed well anytime he's been given the opportunity. Unfortunately, that's always been the problem with Uche. He just doesn't get the chance. Uche has never played more than 374 snaps in a single season. Ridiculous for a guy entering his 4th year that has flashed the way Uche has. Anyway, all that to say, he has a great matchup this week against the Las Vegas Raiders, and Jimmy G could easily see Uche get a half sack in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. As soon as we saw Judon go down, we all pretty much knew the Uche bump was coming. I thought he'd get more of one last week, but I think that's coming. I think he's going to have plenty more playing time. And he was like second in sacks on that team last year with like 11 or something.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, I think maybe 11 and a half actually. But yeah, he was great last year. All the advanced metrics have pretty much said that his entire career. So, yeah, I expect him to have a much bigger rest of season.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's a good call, getting out in front of that. Okay, I got another guy that might be a little under the radar this week. Everyone in IDP land has been talking about how just shredded and screwed up Carolina's secondary is. And, Chin's not even getting used really with all this happening, which is crazy, but it is what it is. With all that said, the one cornerback that has played significant snaps the last 3 weeks is CJ Henderson, who right now is at plus 120 to go over 3.5 combined tackles, which ain't much, especially for the corner one, who's going to be on Tyreek Hill or Waddle. That's a pretty good setup right there. So availability is the best ability. He's going to play 100% of snaps. Miami should absolutely dominate time of possession in this game. I have a feeling they could be on offense for like 45 minutes, and that's only half a joke right there. Carolina's absolutely horrendous. They're just going to get annihilated. So Henderson's going to be on the field a lot. He just needs to stumble his way into more than 3.5 combined tackles for a good price at plus 120.
Yeah, that's beautiful right there. Yeah, you can't say much more than that. Devin White over 6.5 tackles plus assist, minus 130. So slow start for us in Fantasyland, but 6.5 tackles for Devin White is far too low. For his career, he averages 7.7 tackles per game. Detroit has given up the 5th most tackles to opposing linebackers through the first 5 games, allowing nearly 20 per week. So I think we got a big Devin White game incoming. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick with this same game here, Johnny. Antoine Winfield, his tackle line is set at 6.5 this week. Odds for that are -110, so I love the over here as well. Winfield is averaging 7.8 tackles per game this season, and he has a career mark of 6.4 per game. He's gone over 6.5 tackles in 3 of his first 4 games, and Detroit is giving up the second most tackles to safeties, allowing 17 per game. Once again, shout out to John Macri over at PFF.
Yeah, and I was looking at this the other day with White and with Levante David. There is a noticeable difference in their box scores when they go up against a real offense. You can actually see when that happens. Like week 2, bad week. What was it? Week 4, bad week, or it's something like that. You could see the 2 stinkers they both had at the same time against poor offenses when they're in a real game. Both those guys really produce, and they got a real team across from them this week with the Lions, man. So I could see that. I think there's going to be a ton of IDP production in that game, no doubt.
Yeah, 6.5 tackles. That's just really low. And in fact, I mean, I probably like that bet more than I like that Gibbons one that I mentioned at the top of the show, and better odds for it too. -130. I think the Gibbons was like -145. But either way, 2 feels like locks.
Yeah, good stuff there. And we were talking about this before we hit record. If you're worried about this and you want a better price, you can always parlay a few of them and then round robin it so you don't get hosed if one of them goes out. You parlay like 5 or 6 of these together, do a round robin where you only got to get 2 or 3 right, and then you got a buffer zone for you can get stuff wrong and still make a profit. That is been my favorite discovery of the gambling stuff this year is the round robin. Alrighty. Next one I want to talk about is Grant Delpit over 5.5 combined tackles. Price isn't great, -135, but the setup is literally perfect. So the Browns are starting PJ Walker this week, I heard. Yeah, not going to go well for them. San Francisco's in town. San Francisco has the number 3, per yards defense in the league, but they're pretty much the best defense in the league. They're going to make life a living hell for PJ Walker. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of San Francisco on offense and not a lot of Cleveland on offense. So Delpit's going to be on the field a lot. We know the linebacker core in front of him is just a dumpster fire mess, screwed up. And I think he's just going to be out there more than enough to get 5.5 combined tackles. He plays a lot of box snaps. Macri's talked about that before. San Fran's probably just going to, run the clock out end of third all the way through the fourth quarter. And that should do it right there. And we were talking about this before as well. It's with these bets, a good thought process to get there is how do you think the game's going to go? What do you think's going to happen? And then craft your bet to mirror that game script or how you think it's going to go. So I think Delpit easily has a good day, spending 35, 40 minutes on the field this week against the Niners.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And yeah, I mean, he struggled as of late, but those first 2 games, 8 tackles, 6 tackles. He got 5 against Baltimore. So yeah, I mean, he should be all over that. But yeah, fantastic matchup. All right. I think this is my last pick, Johnny. Yeah. Okay. Sam Hubbard over 3.5 tackles plus assist. This isn't the best matchup when it comes to tackles for defensive linemen, but I'm betting on Sam Hubbard here. Hubbard is one of the better run defenders in the league and has racked up over 60 tackles 4 times in his first 6 seasons. For his career, he averages 4.1 tackles per game. This season, Hubbard is averaging 5 tackles per game and has gone over 3.5 tackles in 4 of his first 5. So, like you mentioned, this is, I think this game is going to be back and forth. Both teams going to be on the field a lot. I like Hubbard to get over 3.5 tackles.
Yeah, that's what he was famous for so long in IDP was you get that tackle floor. In fact, I think he was even doing it when it was a 16-game season because I remember doing the math and realizing it was like you started with 5 combined tackles a game with Hubbard, and if you got a sack, it was great. If not, you still had a decent score.
Yeah, one of the best floors in IDP for the edge position, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a great call right there. I like that. Okay, I could probably sneak one more in here for you. So I like Tyson Campbell this week. I'd have to look up his price. It's probably not great. But Tyson Campbell to go over 4.5 combined tackles. So the Colts are in town this week. Anthony Richardson's on the shelf for a month or two. Minshew's probably likely. Got a much better completed passes floor. He's going to be able to throw it and complete passes way more effectively than Anthony Richardson did. Tyson Campbell's gone over that number 4 out of 5 games this season, including in week 1 when he played this exact team that he's playing this week. So I think it's a good setup. Tyson Campbell is just excellent. Also, he'll be on their best receiver, and that'll probably be Pittman, and Pittman will probably be targeted a lot. So I think we're in a good spot.
Bang. Love it. Johny is the world's best at the cornerback evaluation. So always love and appreciate a cornerback bet here. But yeah, that's it, folks. I mean, 20 minutes, I think. This has been a lot of fun. This is how kind of I want the show to be. I want us to just rip off 10 to 15 bets and give you our reasoning and then just kind of get out of here. Because we know that you're degenerates like us, and you got to get home and place more bets and stuff.
Works for me.
All right, everyone. Good luck this week. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to us on the Twitters. But yeah, best of luck. Let's go get this bread.
Yeah.
This was the IDP After Show.